The end is approaching. As for some reason, a lot of you want to blame on the internet this morning, but here we are. If you don't know already, when we woke up this morning, we were dropped with the bombshell that Six Flags and Cedar Fair will be merging into one company. That's right. All the parks of Cedar Fair, all the parks of Six Flags are now under one company. This is coming off the Cedar Fair website, but the combined company will benefit from expanded and complementary portfolio of now having 42 parks, 9 resort properties across 17 states, Canada, and Mexico. If you're wondering, that 42 iconic parks is coming from 27 amusement parks and 15 water parks. This will bring a more diversified graphic footprint with a more balanced presence in year-round operating climates. They'll have a more robust operating model and technology platform to drive and improve guest experience and park efficiencies. This will bring a strong financial profile and cash flow generation expected to facilitate investments in park upgrades, expansions, and new innovative offerings. This will bring approximately $200 million of annual synergies, including $120 million of cost savings anticipated within 2 years following the close. This will also be expected to be accretive for EPS for Cedar Fair unit holders and Six Flags shareholders within the first 12 months following the close of this. The close of this sale is expected to be at the end of the first half of 2024. The combined company will now have a pro forma enterprise value of approximately $8 billion. Good gosh. And this will be the leading amusement park operator in highly competitive leisure space with an expanded and diversified footprint, a more robust operating model, and a strong revenue and cash flow generation profile. This agreement, by the way, has been unanimously approved by the board of directors of both companies, both Cedar Fair and Six Flags, but we'll get into a little bit more of that just a little bit later, because obviously the entire thing is not finalized just yet. So what does this mean? Well, we don't know yet. But here's something interesting. The companies expect to leverage Cedar Fair's recent park investments experience to accelerate the transformation underway across the Six Flags portfolio. If you're not aware, ever since Salim Basul has been CEO, it has been his goal to transform the Six Flags parks into more than just amusement parks, but to also be premium guest experiences, which is basically what Cedar Fair has been doing for the past decade. That has been their goal, is to enhance experience. So that's why Cedar Fair, while they still add roller coasters, they haven't been adding what they did during the Dick Kinzel era. They've been focusing more on adding more events, enhancing food options, better shows. So overall, this seems to be a very interesting term, but it also makes sense. First of all, is this a bad thing or a good thing? We don't know yet. However, what is the main purpose of this? Right now, as we know, the main reason why Six Flags and Cedar Fair are choosing to do this is to basically keep their companies afloat. Post-COVID has not been easy on these parks and in the amusement industry as a whole, especially since attendance has definitely plateaued, maybe a little bit of a decline since 2022. And that's not just the Cedar Fair parks or Six Flags parks, that's every amusement and theme park across America. And this is not a company buying another company. This is not like how Cedar Fair bought the Paramount Parks or how Premier Parks acquired the Six Flags Parks from Time Warner. This is strictly both companies merging to become one company. So I don't really expect a lot of things, at least at this point, to change, especially since it's still got to be finalized. There's a lot to uncover, especially since there's just some small details that each company kind of work differently. But it definitely seems like they're more focusing on how Cedar Fair ran their parks rather than the way Six Flags ran their parks. It seems like this will also be a way for them to invest more. I know a lot of people are throwing around the word monopoly. This is a monopolistic gain, and at the moment it really isn't. You got to understand that they're not doing this to raise prices or to control the market as a whole, because obviously this isn't going to affect Hershey Park in any way or other amusement parks like Elitch Gardens, Magic Springs, or Knoebels. This is more for the companies to stay afloat and to, in their words, allow them to invest more into the parks and bring in better cash flow. Under the new leadership, they've brought over the CEO and president of Cedar Fair, Richard Zimmerman, to serve as the president and CEO of this new branded company. Along with Brian Withrow, who was the CFO for Cedar Fair, will now be the CFO for this new company. Salim Basul, who was the CEO of Six Flags, will now be the executive chairman of the combined company's board of directors. And Gary Mick, who is the CFO of Six Flags, will now serve as the Chief Integration Officer, CIO of the company. The board of directors will also include 12 members, 6 will be from Cedar Fair, and 6 will be from Six Flags. So this is clearly supposed to be a bleeding of the companies. So I assume they're going to be a mixture of things from Six Flags that we'll be seeing coming over to Cedar Fair, and vice versa. Once this merger is complete in 2024, obviously following the receipt of Six Flags shareholders' approval, because that needs to be approved before this, same with the regulatory approvals, and satisfaction of customary closing conditions. Approval of the Cedar Fair's unit holders is not required for this. Six Flags' largest shareholder, which owns approximately 13.6% of Six Flags shares outstanding, has signed a voting and support agreement in order to vote in favor of this transaction. The transaction is not expected to trigger any change of the control of provision under Cedar Fair's and Six Flags' respective outstanding notes. Also know that upon closing of this transaction, the combined company will operate under the name Six Flags and will trade under the ticker symbol FUN, which, for those of you that didn't know, that is the same ticker symbol that Cedar Fair ran under. They will be structured as a C corporation. The combined company will be headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where Cedar Fair has been headquartered for quite some time, while they also have another headquarters in Sandusky where they originally were. Will maintain significant finance administrative operations from the Sandusky, Ohio corporation building. So, before everybody gets off their high horse about it, let's be realistic here. We don't know what this will be like in the future. There's a lot of things that have to come out. This will also be interesting. Of note that it seems like in the near future, they do want to actually bring out a pass that allows you to go to all parks. So one pass for all parks. Right now, you can't do that for obvious reasons. You get the Cedar Fair Platinum Pass or the Prestige Pass or the Gold Pass with the enhancement of going to all the Cedar Fair parks. And then you get the Diamond Pass for Six Flags, or if you still have the Six Flags memberships, Diamond Elite. But they did mention that their goal is to have a one pass for all parks, which, yes, it will be more expensive, but it obviously makes more sense since, that's a lot of parks. Keep in mind that, Disney parks still charge like $1,300 for their season pass for just the 4 parks. But that's besides the point. Obviously, right now, the goal is just to keep the companies afloat. They want to continue investing in their parks. It looks like Six Flags is looking towards Cedar Fair to help them in their future to sustain their parks as well. And it's just going to help Cedar Fair out with keeping money growing. So we have to see how this will continue. We don't know yet until maybe a year down the road when this is all said and done. But I understand the concern. Just hold your concerns off to the side and just kind of keep them in the back of your head with this going through. Another interesting thing to note is that all the IPs are staying. So the Peanuts IP, the DC Comics IP, and the Looney Tunes IP will stay. Does that mean they'll cross over? I don't know yet. It looks like, I think for the time being, they're just going to keep them all. So the Cedar Fair parks will keep the Peanuts themed characters. The Six Flags parks will stay the same. And I think they're going to keep it that way. They're going to kind of enhance it. They may start doing crossovers with it. Maybe down the road, they do want to do like expansions, maybe add more to it. We'll see how it goes. Who knows? We may see Looney Tunes characters start going to the Cedar Fair parks. I would say at least for 2024, you will not see that, especially since this won't be finalized till through the first half of 2024 as well. So things will be moving slow, at least in terms of changing. So we'll have to see how this goes. But I think we got to realize is that this may be a good thing. I mean, look what Cedar Fair has done with the food operations there. I would love to see that come to the Six Flags parks dearly. I also would love to see the shows that Kings Dominion has been doing with their events, especially since Six Flags has been big on events, kind of enhance them a little bit more. This will help out with that, especially coming from a team with the experience of doing that. Keep in mind that Richard Zimmerman, the CEO of Cedar Fair, actually got his start working in amusement parks back at Kings Dominion. He would eventually even become the general manager of Kings Dominion for quite some time before moving up to Cedar Fair. So there's a lot to look forward to. In terms of ride renaming, I don't expect too much, guys. We won't know. I think everything will stay the same. Maybe we'll just get enhancements on what's already there. I'd love to see if they can continue because Six Flags Fiesta Texas, what they've been doing, has been very similar to what Cedar Fair has been doing. So I'd like to see that kind of bleed over into the other Six Flags parks as well. Six Flags has also been known for not only installing rides, but a lot of water park attractions as well. A lot more than what Cedar Fair usually does. So that would be really nice to see a little bit more expansions come to the water parks in terms of water park attractions. So overall, my thoughts, obviously, I'm reserved on this one. Obviously, I'm more on the positive side of things, as this looks like to be beneficial for not only for the Six Flags Cedar Fair parks, but beneficial to us as the consumer, especially since the goal for this is to be able to keep their parks sustained and continue to have investment into them. And it looks like Six Flags is looking at this towards how this will be a good way to improve our parks even more than what we're trying to do as well. So I am a little bit more on the optimistic side. Although I will say, these jokes that I've been seeing on the internet have been quite funny. Mr. Freeze, Reverse Blast, Top Thrill Trackster, I-305 as Goliath. These have been really funny, guys. I've been really enjoying these jokes. But to bring it back realistically, as I wanted to make this video to be, is that let's not overreact to this just yet. I understand that there are concerns with how this is going to go, but we just need to wait it out and see how this goes. We obviously don't know because this hasn't happened before. Once again, this is a merging of companies. No company is buying the other one out. They are joining together to create one whole company. We'll have to see how this goes. So just be reserved. Let's see how this goes and try to stay on the optimistic side. I'm kind of curious to see how this turns out, especially with how the parks operate. So this will be very interesting to see. So that will be all for this video. Very quick video to bring to you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a like button, as this will greatly help my channel out, and I very much appreciate it. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, why not hit that subscribe button? Once again, it would really help the channel out in the near future. And thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, roller coaster fanatics, keep coasting.